There's just something about human nature that wants to fly. From the Wright brothers inventing airplanes, to the superheroes we look up to almost every science fiction film making us want flying cars. There's something about going airborne that equates to freedom from gravity's nasty pull. After playing the new extreme sports game Impossible Soaring, it's easy to see why so many people want to take to the sky. Flying through skyscrapers, over mountains, and into sunken cities is every bit as exhilarating as you would expect. And adding a scoring system not only forces you to be more daring, but also makes Impossible Soaring one of the first great games of 2020. It's probably worth starting this review by clarifying that you're not actually flying, but rather gliding through the sky. Your job is to soar around 9 large stages in an attempt to earn as many points as possible before time runs out. You do this by flying through the tight openings and getting as close to the obstacles and surface as possible. The trick is to combine the near misses into one seamless run in an effort to boost the score multiplier. Once the time runs out, you'll be ranked by the computer and tossed onto the online leaderboard. Now, controlling your customizable character is surprisingly simple. Once they start gliding, all you need to think about is steering and getting close to those buildings, mountains, and trees. We do most of this to the analog stick, though you can also tap the shoulder buttons to yaw left and right. The problem is that you're constantly losing speed, so you'll need to keep earning points in order to stay in the air. Of course, the stars of this game are the levels. The 9 locations are mostly of the city and mountain variety, but they do a good job of giving each one a unique identity. For example, the City of Towers, Sunken City, and Sea platforms all presumably house people, but they're all dramatically different from one another. Same with Shelf Canyon and Sky Stacks, 2 mountainous stages with completely different topography. One of my favorite stages is the Coral Atoll, a scenic island filled with giant coral full of holes to swoop through. There's just so much to do and trick off of in this stage, and that's before you discover all of the hidden secrets. Now, on top of vying for high scores, there's also a mode where you'll be popping balloons. This is all about tracking down the scattered balloons and trying to run into them as fast as possible. It's not especially deep, and you'll beat most of these challenges in your first or second attempt, but it's a good way to help unlock the different levels. Impossible Soaring is one of those games that won me over right from the start. I knew I was going to love the game the moment I saw how easy and intuitive the controls were, and I ended up liking the game more with every new level. Even if you're not super competitive about high scores, you'll still love flying around and exploring these 9 varied stages. There's something inherently relaxing to swooping through the narrow passages and skimming the sides of the skyscrapers. And the accessible gameplay makes doing all of this easy and fun. If there's a negative, it's that Impossible Soaring could use a few more tricks. I like the simplicity of scoring points by getting as close to the surface as possible, but it feels like it's missing something. It needs the flying equivalent of a manual, grind, or ollie, something that allows you to interact with the stage in different ways. For as much as I liked popping balloons and earning high scores, I kinda wanted to find hidden tapes and collect letters and do pretty much all of the other stuff that you would find in those early Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games. This definitely feels like the first draft of a really cool idea, and I hope the developer Binary Jellyfish expands on the idea in a beefed up sequel. Thankfully, this first draft is still pretty damn cool. Sure, it's not as deep as it could have been, but I had a hard time putting it down. I kept wanting to jump back in and beat those high scores and earn the higher grades. Impossible Soaring is not just easy to pick up and play, but also bright, colorful, polished, and best of all, incredibly addictive. By mixing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and Pilotwings, Binary Jellyfish has created an instantly likable extreme sports game where taking big aerial risks is encouraged. With accessible gameplay and impeccably designed stages, Impossible Soaring is a gorgeous new gliding game that will impress right from the jump. Some may find the trick system a little shallow, but there's no denying that this is one hell of a debut for what could be an exciting new series. Hey, thanks for watching our review. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new reviews and features almost every day. Now here's the question I have for you. What is your favorite extreme sports game? Oh, it's hard to top some of those early Tony Hawk games, but I'm also partial to SSX3, so it's hard to say. I can't wait to see what you come up with in the comments below. Now, before you freak out, this week's episode of Game Over has not been canceled. It ended up being a little bit bigger than expected, so I've decided to push it until midweek. We'll be back tomorrow with a review of 7th Sector, which will be hitting consoles this February. If that sounds good to you, then I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.